Well, hello everybody. I decided I'd take that half a turkey out of the freezer and do something with it. Because you know, at Thanksgiving time, I always cook a turkey. And I cut the carcass in half usually and put it in two separate bags and put it in the freezer. And later on, I can take it out and I can make turkey soup. I can make turkey and rice or whatever I want to do with it. And most people throw that away, but there's a lot of good meat left on that bone. So here is my turkey carcass, or half of one. And I'm going to put it in the pressure pot and cook it. What did I do with my lid? I thought I had the lid out and I don't. Let me get the lid. I'm already tired because I've been working in the yard most of the day today, but I did get the lid. And this is my bigger pressure pot because I wanted just a little bit more room in there. And I took this out earlier so it would thaw out. And I'm just going to dump it right in my pot. And you know, that's just the turkey bones. And there's still a lot of meat left on that carcass. So, I mean, not to mention that it saves money because you can fix a great big pot full of either turkey and rice, or you can make a big pot full of turkey soup. And what I'm going to do with it today, I was kind of undecided whether I wanted to put rice in it or pasta. And I've got some pasta noodles, elbow macaroni, basically, that I'm going to put in there along with my seasonings after I get it cooked. So, I got to get some water in there. And again, when you're cooking with a pressure cooker, you don't have to put a whole pot full of water. You put just enough to put your meat about halfway underwater. Because we're going to cook this thing under pressure. And yes, I use a lot of things I cook in a pressure cooker because it cuts down the cooking time. I am tired. I've been working in my yard all day. I've been trying to get some last minute seeds out of the greenhouse. If it was possibly big enough to go in a big pot, I transplanted it because I don't want anything staying in the greenhouse. I mean, I still got a few things in there, but they're in those clear plastic totes. And what I'm going to do is just take them out and set them out in so they can get some sun. They need a lot of sun. And when the plants grow a little bit, I can transplant them. If I can find somewhere to transplant them to. I've got all my pots and totes and buckets and everything else full. If all of my stuff lives, I'm going to have a big garden back there. And I'm going to wait and add my seasonings until I get the turkey. And what this does, I mean, the turkey's already cooked. But what this is going to do is cook it even more to where what meat is left on those bones, it's just going to fall off the bones. Plus, it's going to cook the bones. Because you make your best broth when you cook the bones of a turkey, ham bones, anything like that, because you're cooking a lot of flavor right out of the bone and a lot of the health benefits you get out of the bone. So I'm going to get this hot. I am going to cut up, I think I got celery. I got a little bit of celery. I'm going to cut up some celery and part of an onion, even though I'm going to put onion seasoning in there. I'm going to cut up a little bit of onion. Wait for that to. And you know, you don't need much, because this is basically going to be a soup. I mean, it'll be a thick soup because I don't like mine too watery. I gotta remember to get my garbage out today too, because they pick up our garbage tomorrow. Watch pot never boils. And I'm gonna throw the onion and the celery right in the same bowl, I think. But I needed to get that turkey out of there because it's been in there since November. I mean, it would have been okay to leave it, but I don't like to leave things too long in there. Plus, it takes up room, too, that I could put other stuff. But in the summer months is when I like to go through my freezer and pull out all the meats and stuff that I put in there like before Christmas or maybe last summer. I try to get all that out and get it cooked so I can start restocking with fresh meat, fresh fruit, or whatever else I'm going to put up there. That way you don't run the risk of keeping stuff in your freezer too long. Of course, because mine is just the freezer to my refrigerator. My deep freeze quit working correctly, so I got rid of it, and I've not replaced it. So I can go ahead and be cutting this up. I mean, there's so many different dishes you can make with that turkey carcass. I'm not sure if I showed you how I made the turkey and pastry or turkey and dumplings, like, you know, you do the chicken and dumplings. You can put pasta in it. You can put rice in it. You can take all the turkey off the bones and make a sauce and serve it on spaghetti noodles or anything. There's a lot of options to do with a carcass. And again, I'm just going to put about half of this onion in there. Because I'm going to put onion powder, garlic powder, actual garlic in there. And it's got a lot of seasonings. Goes my phone again. It always rings at the most inappropriate time. One of my viewers said that they would really like for me to go live when I was cooking, so they could ask questions right when I was cooking. But the only problem with that is I've got to set up my laptop in the kitchen so I'm able to see the chat. And if I do that, it's going to be back here behind me, so I wouldn't be able to see the chat, or it would be difficult. If I can come up with a way that I can film everything and hook up the laptop and be able to see that, then I might do a live cooking video one day. But yeah, I've got a couple of stalks of celery, and I've got a half of a medium size onion or large onion. Go ahead and wet that gasket a little bit. Make sure that latch comes down. It will when it gets hot. I know a lot of you probably use the quick pots, the quick cookers, or Instapots, or whatever they call them, which is basically the same as a pressure cooker, only it's the newer electric ones that you can set the time on and all this stuff. Whereas this one, everything is manual. You have to pay attention to what you're doing. You can't just set it and walk off and forget about it. I'm dying of thirst. Was out there most of the day messing in the yard, like I said, and I didn't really drink any water to amount to anything. So, and I've got my camera and my tripod sitting up on top of my bar stool. That's the only way I could get it up as high as it is, to hopefully that you could see everything I was doing without me having to move the camera back and forth. So, oh, one thing that I was going to tell everybody about my Easter Sunday, I went to my son's house, and they have 2 cows that was expecting calves any time. They've got a bull, and then they got the two cows, and both of them were going to have, they were going to have calves. Well, Easter Sunday morning, my son sent me a message. He says, "Mom, look," and he sent me a picture of the tan cow that had a tan calf, and that was the boy, and they named it Jesus, because the bull, the daddy, his name is Paco, so they named the boy calf Jesus. And then about an hour or two later, and this was all before I got over there, and I got over there about 1 o'clock. So then the black cow had her calf, and it was a black one, a black baby, and that was the girl. So they named the girl Mary, and the boy is Jesus, and the daddy's Paco, and I don't remember what they named the cows that had the babies. I don't know, but I thought that was so neat. Both of them were born Easter Sunday morning. They couldn't have timed it any better. So I thought that was kind of precious. Had two baby cows to look at. And they were so cute. They'd get up and walk around, and they, you know how they're kind of wobbly on their feet. They're not real steady on their feet yet. And they'd walk a little bit, and then they'd just plop down and rest. And then a little while later, they'd get up and try walking a little bit again. They were up pretty good by the time I left yesterday afternoon or evening. I left about 6 o'clock, and they were kind of getting around pretty good by then. But yeah, that was the highlight of Easter Sunday, was for those two calves to be born on Easter Sunday morning. I'm standing here because I want to make sure when if it starts jiggling and it gets pressure under it, I can turn it down, because I don't want it to blow a gasket. I've had that happen to me before. I don't want it to happen again. It makes a believer out of you, because you don't realize how much pressure is built up in this pot until you blow one of those little round gaskets at the top, and you end up with a stream of liquid coming out of the top. It looks like a water fountain. Not fun to have to clean up the mess it makes either. But my mom always cooked with a pressure cooker because it speeded up the cooking time with all the meat, different things that she fixed. I don't know if my grandmother used one or not. I don't think I've ever seen either one of my grandmothers use one, but I know my mom cooked with one all the time. And I love to fix my stew beef in this pressure cooker. I'll buy a package of stew beef, throw it in there with the onions and seasoning, put it under pressure for about 20 minutes. Take the lid off, add my potatoes and carrots and different things, and oh, that meat just comes out so tender you wouldn't believe. I'll have to fix that one time. I don't have any stewed beef right now where I would have fixed that tonight. Oh, I'm going to put some carrots in there, I think. Cut them up just a little bit. I don't like them too big to go in there. And I got a little bit of turnip here, so I'm going to just chop the turnip up and throw that right in there too. That ought to make it good. That's the beauty of making soup. You can throw a little bit of anything in there. Whatever you got. Yeah, sometimes you have to tap it a little bit to get that lock to drop down. If you don't, it keeps spraying out. It'll spray out the steam, and it'll never build up the pressure. So. I don't know what other kind of vegetable I got that I can put in there. Let me look. Oh, I've got mixed vegetables. Could put some of them in there. I'll think about it. Okay, I know it's under pressure right now, so we've got, it's like 4:33, so we'll let it go until 5 o'clock. That'll give it about 25 minutes. I should have went live with this one, but oh well. I just don't know how I would set up the laptop in here to be able to get it close enough to the stove to be able to take care of what I'm doing, and be able to see the comments. But any of you are free to comment. I'm pretty sure I usually answer all the comments that I see, because I check my comments 2 or 3 times a day. I check them before I go to bed at night. That way, if there's any questions or there's somebody that left a comment, I can reply to the comment. I don't ignore any of them. I was going to do this earlier, but I didn't realize that I had not charged my camera up. So I had to put the camera on the charger, charge the battery up before I could start filming. And that possum is back around. I opened the door last night, turned on the light because I heard something out there, and I figured it was little Buddy. And little Buddy was there, and he was on the porch. But as I glanced just off the porch, there was that possum. And by the time I got in the house, got the camera, and went back out, he'd taken off, and he was behind the bushes, so I couldn't film him. I know that possum is waiting around because he's going to start eating vegetables and fruit when my garden starts producing. So I'm not sure I want him hanging around. I may have to set my live trap and see if I can catch him and just take him down the road and turn him loose somewhere. Just to get him away from my house. Because something ate some of my melons last year. One disappeared. He ate half of one. So he's learned that, there's food out there in the summer. So I just don't want him to keep coming by here because he'll have babies and his babies will be here eating. So I'll end up with no garden left. Don't want that to happen. I work too hard to get my garden to grow and produce to let the possums eat it up and destroy everything. It's been a beautiful day today. It's not been hot and it's not cool. It's just right. It's comfortable outside. Just the right type of weather to be outside in the yard doing something. I tell you, times are tough everywhere. People are losing their jobs. Some companies are spending too much money, so the company's not making anything. So they're shutting their facilities down, laying everybody off. It's terrible. I think there's going to be a lot more people planting gardens this summer. My son loves a garden, but they tried one where they're at and it didn't do too good, but he's got his patio lined with potted tomato plants, peppers, and stuff like that. Because he's like me, he likes the fresh tomato. It's so different than the store-bought tomato. I mean, it's like night and day difference. I refuse to buy a tomato in the store most of the time, because I just don't like the way they taste. Now, you can buy that same tomato, take a slice of it and put it in your pot in your yard, and it'll grow tomato plants and it'll produce some good tomatoes because they're not in the greenhouse. And they actually have a taste to your tomato, where store-bought tomatoes just usually do not have any taste to them. You see it starting to jiggle? When you hear that jiggle, that's when you need to pay attention to your heat. That's when you need to turn your heat down. I mean, it's okay if you hear it jiggle once in a while. But if that thing starts steadily jiggling, you got your heat up way too high. Yeah, I've got 2 pressure cookers. The big one, and I've got the smaller one, that I used the last time I did a video. I cooked my beans in the small one, and I'm doing my turkey in this. I said, hopefully my camera won't turn off with me today, and I'll be able to do my video in one video and post it without having a part 1 and a part 2. I know there's some parts of the country that still have ice and snow on the ground. I cannot imagine living in those areas. I don't like the cold. I mean, the heat will get to you, but I can put up with the heat a lot quicker than I can the cold. Because when I get cold, it just like draws me all up. And with my back and neck injury, it causes my bones to hurt, my muscles to hurt, everything hurts. The heat helps it. So. Yeah, this is something I've cooked for years and years and years. My turkey with pasta, or chicken and pasta, or chicken and rice, turkey and rice, chicken and dumplings, turkey and dumplings. I think the next best thing to putting the dumplings in there is just putting the pasta noodles. Because that's basically a dumpling too. It's just not like the dumplings you make. Got a little while longer to go. And see, I could have done a live and I could have answered questions. Because waiting for this to cook, you know, I could have been watching the chat. But oh well, maybe next time. May have turned it down too low. Turn it up just a little bit. You know, once you get used to cooking with these old-timey pressure cookers, it's not a big deal. Just have to pay attention to what you're doing. And again, I am thirsty. Either to get it too hot or not hot enough. You know it's doing its job when it jiggles like that occasionally. Oh, me. I've got a George Foreman grill here. One that my daughter and my son-in-law got me one Christmas. And you know, it's been ages since I've used that because I started grilling out everything outside. And I just haven't used my George Foreman grill in ages. Need to come up with something to cook on that one day. And maybe grill out one day and video that. We'll see. I've still got my waffle iron. I used to fix waffles years ago. I haven't used that in quite a while. I need to get that out and fix some homemade waffles instead of buying frozen ones. Oh, about another 10 minutes and we can take the lid off. Let me know in the comments how many of you ladies watching have used a pressure cooker like this, the old-fashioned one, or if you use the Instapot. Need to go fishing one day. I haven't been fishing in a while because it's been too windy to go. On all the days that it's been really nice, it's been too windy. Today would have been a good day to go, but I had too much in the yard to do. I wanted to get stuff done in my garden first. School bus. Kind of late for the school bus. It's almost 5 o'clock. But I guess they may have run some of the high school kids because they don't even get out of school at almost 4:30, I think. Oh, that turkey smells so good. I wish you could smell it. Smells good enough to eat. Yeah, I've got eggplant, I got orange bell pepper, green bell pepper, yellow bell pepper, red bell pepper. I've got all kind of hot peppers. I got banana peppers, eggplants, all like 5 or 6 different types of tomatoes planted. I've got winter squash, yellow squash, zucchini, butternut squash, I think, if the plant survived. Kajari melons, cantaloupe, crimson watermelon, pumpkin, honeydew. I have got so much stuff planted out there. If it all lives and starts producing, I'm going to have stuff going out my ears. And I hope it does this year because I planted so much last year and worked so hard, and then it got so hot. The poor plants just could not survive. Most of my plants could not survive 105 and 110 and 11 degree temperatures all the time. It was just too hot. Hopefully this summer will be better and my garden will really turn out good. And I got to remind myself to call Dollar Tree too, because they sent me an email that my buckets were ready to be picked up, and I went out there yesterday and they claimed there was no buckets on the truck. So I called the number on the email and he said, well, we show in the system that the buckets were delivered to the Dollar Tree And I said, well, the manager went back and looked, and he said that there was no buckets brought in on the truck. So they were supposed to write a ticket up on it, do some investigating today, and then get back with me. So far, I've not heard from them, but they may have called when I was in the yard, working. So when I get through with this video, I think I'll give them a call and see what's going on. Because I ordered more that'll come in next week as well. So I'm afraid if I don't get these, I may not get the next ones, and they've already charged me for both sets of them. So if I don't get them, then they need to refund my money. One of the cashiers that was there seemed to think that, well, all the ladies were gone that worked to unload the truck. And when I asked them about it, they told me not to come in yesterday till after 4 because they wouldn't be through unloading the truck till after 4 o'clock. Well, of course, all of them had left. And the cashier that I talked to, she said, well, if they claimed those buckets came in, they sent you an email that they were here. Evidently, some of them let some other person purchase those buckets. They didn't hold them for me. So we'll see what's going on when I give them another call. I mean, I think that's kind of bad when you order something because the store is out. Your order comes in and they give it to someone else. When they were bound and determined they weren't going to even give me information on them unless I had an email saying the order was ready. So I don't see how they could rightfully give the order to someone else to purchase when you can't even pick up the order without the email to confirm that you had them, that you ordered them. So it's beyond me. Beyond my recognition, totally. Yeah, Buddy was out there a little while ago, and I come in the house and got busy, and then I fixed him a bowl of food and was going to put it out there for him. And when I opened the door to put his food out on the porch, he had already left. He went somewhere else already, so he'll be back. When he comes back, I'll give him his bowl of food. 5 minutes, y'all, and we take the lid off. 5 more minutes. And I know I told you that I purposely wash dishes in a dishpan so I can water my plants with the dishwater, because they had us restricted on our water usage last summer, and as far as I know, the restriction is still in effect. I bet some of y'all watching have got some really good old-timey recipes that I would love to get my hands on. This is an old standby that I've fixed this dish for many, many, many years. It's a very inexpensive dish, you know, when you save your turkey carcass from Thanksgiving. Because like I said, it's still got a lot of meat on it. And most people just throw that in the garbage. I mean, they don't even stop to think that there's a lot that you can do with that turkey carcass. Got all my spices and stuff up here. these plates or bowls so I'll have something put that turkey carcass out in to get the meat off of the bones. Yeah, I think I can safely remove it. And this is my favorite way to cool it down. Just put it in the sink and run cold water on the lid. And you know, when that steam stops coming out that spout, you know then it's all right to take the lid off. Because if you don't wait till that steam stops coming out to take that lid off, you'll get scalded. Because it will throw scalding steam all over you. And like I said, there's a latch under there. Oh, didn't mean to do that, but yeah, there's a latch in the handle that locks that you have to unhook to get that lid off. It's just one of the safety features, I guess. Let's see. I got tongs here somewhere. It's easier to use the tongs to get this out than it is to... See, those bones just fall apart. That's the way you want it. You also want it to cool off. Ooh, that's a little hot. Got the plate hot. I know my kitchen probably looks primitive to a lot of you ladies, but I do the best I can. Yeah, I try to get all the bones out of the pot. Now we can turn the heat back on, get it back to boiling. We can add our few turnips and carrots. We can add our celery and our onions. And I've got garlic salt that I'm putting in, because that's the only salt that I'm putting in this dish. I've got complete seasoning. I don't know if you've ever used it, but it's got dehydrated garlic, onion, a lot of stuff I can't pronounce, but it's a good seasoning. I put some of that in there. A little bit of black pepper. I put chicken bouillon. And I always get the dry chicken bouillon. And I put about 2 tablespoons of it in there. Because to me that gives it a good taste. And I've got to have my garlic. I need to start using my garlic that I bought. I've got another clove of garlic up there. Fresh garlic that I haven't used yet. I keep forgetting it's there because I'm so used to using that crushed garlic that's in the jar. And I just want to taste the broth. Yep, that's good. So that has to cook because it's got to cook those turnips and it's got to cook the onion and the celery. And while that's doing that, I'm going to start deboning this this turkey. What of it's cool enough for me to handle. But I mean, there's little bits and pieces everywhere on the turkey carcass. I mean, I used to tell my kids, some people don't realize they're throwing food away when they throw, a turkey carcass away. Because there's a lot of meat on that. I mean, when you buy a can of chicken soup or chicken and rice soup, how much chicken or turkey do you get in there? Hardly any at all. It's mostly seasonings with no turkey, no chicken hardly. And if you make it yourself like this, you have a lot more chicken or turkey to put in your soup or the dish you're making that normal people just throw away every day. So I figure, why pay? Don't get me wrong, I buy canned soup because I like to have stuff on hand. So maybe, I get sick or something or don't feel good, or maybe I don't want to have to cook, that I've got something on hand that I can heat up. And if I don't have any of my turkey soup or chicken soup made that I can just heat up, then it's always nice to have a can of something on hand. One lady that I know, she said she never thought about what they threw away. And she said she took the chicken carcass one time and did like I just did this turkey carcass. And she says, man, I couldn't believe the meat that was still on that thing. That I ended up getting off of those bones to make a chicken soup or chicken and rice. Or chicken and dumplings. So, this day and time, people can't afford to throw food away. And, you get all the icky stuff off, like the gristle and all that stuff. You don't have to throw that in there. Just get your meat off the bones. And I'll do it the easy way. I just throw it right back in the pot as I pull it off. I guess I should have just put it in a dish so I could show you how much I was getting to put in my soup over here. I didn't think to do that, but the next time you open a can of either chicken and rice or chicken noodle soup, look in there and just see how much meat you've got in that soup. I'll guarantee you, you're lucky if you find any. And I've already put more meat back in this pot than I would have gotten out of a canned soup any day. And I'm just hoping my camera doesn't go off with me. It's not going to be cool if my camera goes off. Oh, that's hot. When you cook it in the pressure pot, what it does is it just makes everything just fall off the bone. Because that turkey's already cooked. And you cook it a little bit more and everything is just going to fall right off the bone. It cuts your time down in half about deboning it. Because when it just comes right off, it's easier. Little buddy might like to get some of those turkey bones. Some of the big ones. I wouldn't give him the little ones. This is going to make some good soup. Or good turkey with pasta in it. It's what I'm having for supper. Or having for my dinner tonight. And some of the pieces aren't good, but you know, like the tucci, as my daddy called it, that's basically all fat, and I don't ever put that back in there. There's a lot of turkey on these bones, especially if you're just going to make a turkey and rice or a turkey soup. And you didn't have to go buy another turkey to do it. I mean, let's face it, some women wouldn't go to the trouble to do something like this. But I'll guarantee you, if you were ever limited on your money to buy groceries, you'd be glad to do something like this to eat well. Sometimes makes a difference between eating good food and not, so. And like I said, I grew up with my mom cooking everything. I mean, we didn't go out to eat much at all. When we lived in New York, we did a little bit, not much. But then after we moved back to North Carolina, I don't remember ever going out to eat because there's too many of us. But who wanted to? My mom was a good cook. She was better than any restaurant. So you ate what my mom cooked and you were glad to get it. Like on these pieces here, you get some of the white meat even that's still left. And I'm just going to dump the little bit of bits there and the the drippings and everything in there because that's what's good. I'll redo all this after the video's over, but I do like to try to keep it halfway decent while I'm cooking. I know some people can cook and their kitchen's a mess. I can't do that. I try to keep my kitchen halfway straight while I'm cooking, or it would just bug me to death. And what I can do is go ahead and put my noodles in there. Because they can be cooking while everything else is cooking. And I'm not sure how much I want to put in. Maybe just use the whole thing. That was one bag of pasta going in my chicken soup. My turkey soup. And you've got to see this. Don't this look good? And there is a lot of turkey in there. That's going to be really good. See if I can get this back up here without turning it over. I know there's some women watching this would probably say, well, I wouldn't go to all that trouble to cook. But you got to remember, most of my videos on cooking is on low-cost meals, easy meals, nutritious meals, that type of thing. I never have been one to go elaborate with cooking. I don't go out and buy the most expensive cuts of meat. I don't buy the expensive anything to do my cooking with. And one of my friends said, well, you ought to make a video of you cooking and show what you put in your dishes so other people can do it. That's one reason I added cooking videos to my channel. Because I said there's so many people out there cutting corners, they would probably love to see some of my recipes that I do. I mean, this makes a really good turkey and pasta any day of the week. I mean, it tastes great. It's cheap. So by the time that pasta is done, everything else should be done. Yeah, I've learned to use what I got in my kitchen, come up with inexpensive dishes, easy dishes, cheap dishes that are good. And I figured, well, there's a lot of people out there that maybe would like to see some of that. And my friend said he thought people would love to watch some of my cooking videos. So that's why I do it. And you know, after being used to watching my money, having to cut corners, cook inexpensively like this, even if I had $1 million handed to me today, I would still do this. Because I still would not want to just throw my money away and just spend it unnecessarily or unneedingly. I've got cranberry juice. It's cranberry grape juice in my little thermal cup. Tastes really good. I was watching some videos on YouTube of these women in Vietnam, how they build their huts or homes out of bamboo, how they build clay stoves, basically a fire pit that they cook on. My oldest brother was in Vietnam during the Vietnamese War. And he said most people get the impression that the Vietnamese people that live in huts and have dirt floors and all this are dirty people, but they're not. He said, you would not believe how clean those people are. Like in the States, if you have hogs or pigs that you raise, they're on the dirt, they're in the mud. They're filthy. He said there they build wooden pens so that they're never in the dirt. And they can take their garden hose and just spray them off and spray the floor off because it's got enough space between the logs in the floor that it just washes right through. He said, man, they're some of the cleanest people I've ever seen. And some of those women in those videos are educated people. They've got college educations. The only problem is they went out to the city to do their dream after getting out of college, and they realized what the world was all about out there. How it was all about paying bills every week or every month. How it was you were working just to feed somebody else's pocket. So there was a bunch of them that just said, I'm not doing this. You know, I'm not working to give my money to someone else. So they went back to Vietnam. They went back to the farmland, and they're building their own bamboo huts, bamboo fences, bamboo pens for some of their animals. They're basically living off the land. And they said they would rather do that than to take the education that they paid and worked to get to go work on a job for someone else just to feed their pocket. And I agree with them. I mean, they don't have to pay an electric bill. They don't pay a water bill. Because in Vietnam, it's all like up and downhill. They find a spring that runs downhill. They'll put their house and their farm right where that spring is. They channel that water into their property. So they have running water from that spring that comes right to their kitchen, to a holding tank, or whatever they need. And then I saw some of them that actually rig up these little machines. They're not generators. They're kind of like a generator, but it's a little thing. It's not gas propelled or anything. The water runs through it and it produces their own electricity. Not a lot of electricity, but it produces enough that they have electric lights in their house, and they don't pay an electric bill. They don't pay a water bill. They don't pay rent on their house or a house payment every month, because most of them own their property. It was handed down to them from one generation to the other. And I said, well, they got the right idea. I mean, granted, I couldn't do some of the things they do as far as building their house and all of that stuff. I got to see if this pasta's done. Because I'm not physically able, but if I was as young as some of those women are, I guess I could do it. Oh, I've got to get a bowl out of here. And I'm so short. I would never want a microwave above my stove. I would never want it above the counter. If it's not counter level, I don't want it. Now, look at this. This is something. Oh my God, look at that. Look at that, y'all. Don't that look good? I mean, just look at this. Don't that look good? Look at that. And look at all the turkey in there. You don't have to take a magnifying glass and find the turkey. Look at that. There's actual pieces of meat in there. Let me move this camera over here. It might be a little bit too high. Now, if it falls off of this stool, I'm going to be upset. But you can't beat this. Oh my God, I've just got to show you again. Under the good light. Look at that. Plenty of broth in there. You got your pasta noodles, your turkey, your carrots, your celery. That's good eating right there. You know what? That's too high. Let's see if we can lower it. Well, I undid the wrong one. I'll have it in a minute. Just bear with me. But here is my turkey and pasta soup. I mean, this looks so good. Dear Lord, thank us for our food. Bless this food I'm about to eat. Bless everybody out in YouTube land. Look at this. Oh my God. I'm trying to get some of it on a spoon. Because I want to give you the first bite. Look at that. Turkey and pasta soup, y'all. Woo, and I just burnt my finger. It dripped on my fingers. Or in my hand, not my finger, and it was hot. I gotta let it cool. It's hot. Y'all have some. You gotta fix some of this. It's really good. Mm-hmm. This is so good. Y'all buy you a 99-cent bag of macaroni noodles or any pasta noodles. Take a chicken carcass or a turkey carcass and make you some turkey or chicken and pasta soup. That's hot. That is so good. My God, that's so good. Just goes to show you what you can do with just a little bit of nothing. Turn it into a great meal. I bet there's a lot of homeless people out there and a lot of people that don't have money to buy groceries that would love to have a bowl of this turkey noodle soup right now. I can already see I'm going to eat at least 2 bowls of this. Mm-hmm. And there's just enough carrots and celery and that rutabaga just to make it good. And you can put any kind of vegetable in it. You can put corn. You can put green beans, carrots, anything, any vegetable that you like. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's hot, y'all. I'm hungry and I want to eat it, but it's too hot to eat. Got to remember to go slow. Mmm. And I don't know any kid that wouldn't love this. Well, I'm not going to make you watch me eat this whole bowl of turkey and pasta. But try it. I mean, you saw what I used. I just used what I had in the kitchen. You can put any vegetables in it that you'd like. You know, pick out the ones you like in a soup. Put those in there. I just picked out what I had on hand, and it made it a great soup. I mean, that is really good. So, with that, I'm going to let this cool off a little bit, and I'm going to eat my bowl of soup. Y'all have a blessed evening. Please like, share, and subscribe to my videos. Hit the little bell so you'll get notified of all my videos as soon as I post them. Share them so your friends and family can watch the videos, and maybe they'll share them with some of their friends and family. I mean, I have nothing but good, wholesome content on my videos. It's either going to be gardening, singing, cooking. I mean, I may throw anything in on my video, but it'll be good entertainment. It's not going to be anything vulgar or X-rated or anything like that. So, with that, I'm going to say thank you so much for hanging out with me while I cook this soup. Because I know it was kind of a long, drawn out video, having to watch a pot cook turkey. But I appreciate every one of you. I appreciate the time that you took to watch my video. And like I said, please like, share, subscribe to my videos. Y'all have a blessed evening. I will see you on my next video. Bye now.